Hey everybody, what is up? Brian Zach here, once again from Nashville. And today's video is gonna take a more in-depth look at my new Canopus Yaiba snare drum. And it just so happens that I have it right down here. So I'm going to show you this. Okay, and you can see the label there. So Canopus Yaiba, made in Japan, and Yaiba stands for Japanese sword, or translates into Japanese sword. Recently I picked this drum up. I had a chance to try it out at the warehouse in Las Vegas, and just gonna turn off the snares here while they're buzzing through my voice. I just loved the sound of this snare the moment I heard it played. You know, I was with a friend, and I asked a friend of mine to play it while I stood back a few feet, maybe 6 feet or so I could hear it, because that gives such a different, you know, there's such a different perspective on sound. You know, when you play a drum and you're standing right over it versus, you know, hearing the drum in the room from a distance, it can be quite a difference. But something about this drum just spoke to me. First of all, I love that it's Birch. I've never owned a Birch snare drum. I've always wanted one ever since I read years and years ago, decades ago, that birch wood was great for recording and that microphones really like birch style drums. What they say is true, as you'll soon find out from the other portion of this video. So this video is basically a split between focusing on this snare drum that's new to me, and also just to you'll see in the next portion of the video, I'm actually using this drum on a session that I recorded a few days ago for a client here at the studio, and so you're gonna get to hear this drum under the microscope, as it were, and in all its full glory. So if you haven't checked out the video I posted recently from a live show playing a train beat on this drum, there's that too, but that's not, you know, that was just audio taken from the GoPro camera that I was using, which in my opinion is, yeah, so-so. So this will give you a better, you know, indication of how this drum sounds. Now keep in mind, I still have the stock snare drum head on that came with the drum, with that little fish mute, as you see, just to kind of tame the overtones down a little bit. And I also have not even changed the tuning on this drum since it arrived, because I'm in love with it that much. It's just got this beautiful, like, thick, fat, warm, honky, kind of wonky sound to it. It's tuned a little bit lower than I'm used to using, especially in a live setting. But you know, when you hit the rim shots and it sets off this sort of, you know, these overtones, and man, it just sounds so darn good, and it's just very comfortable to play. It's comfortable to lay into it and just hit it hard and play like a lot of fills that are just, you know, those types of fills where you're just like, you know, you're just machine gunning the room. I don't know, this drum just makes me want to do that more. So I get excited about it. So a couple of things I want to mention. First of all, the finish is called Ice Black. Now this drum does come in different finishes. There's a white, there's like an ice white version, and a number of other different finishes, quite a few different options that they have to choose from. And as you see, it's got the die-cast rims, which really help give this drum its tone and its character, I think. I don't think it would be, this is just me speaking, my preferences. I don't think I would like the triple flanged hoops on this drum nearly as much as the die cast, just for my own personal preference tastes. So yeah, so it's still got the stock head. At some point very soon I'll be switching that out to an Aquarian. I've been trying to decide what I want to put on there. Possibly a texture coated with the dot, which is usually my go-to snare drum head. But I've been toying with the idea of maybe putting like a what do you call it, a vintage, one of their modern vintage 2 heads on. There's like a double ply. I don't know, that might kill some of the overtones that I love so much. So I don't know. I'm still deciding what head to put on and what's gonna keep that sort of that overtone thing happening. All the hardware on this drum is made by Canopus. It's all proprietary. So these, as you see, these lugs here, they're sort of like faux separate. It's one piece, but they sort of look like they're designed to look like there's two, like, sort of sharp, that come to a sharp edge down here, but it's not. It's all one piece. I think that's really cool. The snare strainer is quite simple and basic, but works and is smooth, and just there's no issues there. Doesn't you engage the snares and you hit it hard, and it does not loosen up or disengage in any way. The snare wires, it comes with the Canopus snare wires. These are the vintage non-plated snare wires. I've talked about those in other videos. Highly recommend those, no matter what snare drum you are actually playing. So the sort of the formula that they use is that if you're using a wood drum, you go with the non-plated, which is what we have here, and if you're using a metal drum, you use the plated. And so that seems to work quite well. So highly recommend that. Let's see. Let's talk about the music you're about to hear in a little bit of this. So this song is written and sung by a woman named Sarah Douglas. She lives here in Nashville, and she reached out to me to play on some of her songs. The song is called "A Sign from Above," and it's sort of a slow 680 ballady kind of Fleetwood Mac. She sort of referenced a Fleetwood Mac tune for me to listen to before I recorded this. But I made a chart. It's a Nashville numbers chart. I will include this chart in the description, so if you want to look at that and download that. Something that made this recording a little bit challenging for me is that she did not record any of her songs to a click. Lucky for me, she has very good time. So it wasn't a super challenge, but there are a few little places where it kind of loosey-goosey, bumps up and then bumps down and that kind of thing. A few little places where I had to really try and be sensitive to like what's happening in the guitar part and just get a feel for like the time and the flow of her phrasing and the lyrics and what have you. There's no other instruments other than a couple of guitar parts and her voice, and now my drums. So it was really all I had to go on. So it's pretty exposed, which is kind of cool, which makes for a good video for this demo for the snare drum. But yeah, so that's it. Again, the chart will be down below. Enjoy the music. This song is called "A Sign from Above" by Sarah Douglas, and I really hope you enjoy listening to this snare drum, and can't recommend it enough. Check out Canopus snare drums, and all of their drums are amazing. If go to your local music store, and if they don't already have Canopus drums, ask them why not, and request them. So, all right, guys, here is A Sign from Above by Sarah Douglas.
Gone are the days of roses and promises that we made. Long, long are the nights of bad dreams and loneliness. I'm lonely all the time, and I wish that you were still mine. Sometimes the truth is the hardest to say. Lay it all down on the line, but I miss your love more and more every day. And I wish that you were still mine. Love's left behind the sweetest of memories on my mind, and I wish that you were still mine. Sometimes the truth is the hardest to say. Lay it all down on the line, but I miss your love more and more every day. And I wish that you were still mine. I wish that you were still mine. Gone, gone are the days of roses and promises that we made. I wish that you